What we believe is true to us. The law of vibration, a universal law, says that thoughts create feelings, those feelings create vibration, and vibration creates matter. Since we are energy light beings having a temporary yet sometimes limiting, sometimes expansive experience, it's all based on the focus of our awareness and our perception of it. The key is to understand how to shift ourselves when we get confused by our outer circumstances. Our vibration can get limited by our frequency, and our vibration is determined by how we feel, which is always changing. Our frequency is based on our perception. So in yoga therapy, a lack of knowledge of the true self is the source of all dis-ease. Yoga therapy works to reveal the true self, removing the conditioning, the form of kleshas or obstructions like core beliefs and perceptions, of the koshas or layers of being, physical, energetic, psychological, intuitive, and spiritual, being the source and the foundational dimension of who we are. All dis-ease stems from a disconnection of the true self, a separation from that. Stress is the result of that. So understanding the physiological response in relation to the separation of our true self is, from a yogic perspective, how avidya, or the source of all this imbalance, avidya meaning the disconnection of self, this is how we get fundamentally separated from the world. A lot of energy gets exerted trying to become something or someone. This is why healing, especially from complex trauma, is always related to our level of connection with our true self and a lack of awareness of ourselves as part of the unity of all things. Healing is the process of remembering and re-remembering our own innate wholeness. Oneness consciousness is the experience of recognizing the deep interconnectedness of life, transcending the ego and realizing the boundaries between self and other, or between individual and universe, are illusionary. This state is associated with peace, compassion, and a profound sense of connection to everything around us. Non-dualism is a central concept in oneness consciousness. In the non-dual state, dualities of the material world, such as good versus bad, self versus others, body versus mind, are just illusions. Everything's viewed as different expressions of the same underlying reality or energy. So this way of perceiving reality aligns with many mystical and philosophical traditions such as Advaita Vedanta in Hinduism or Zen Buddhism. Oneness consciousness includes a deep experience of being in the present moment, a samadhi state. I remember having one of these experiences back in my 20s, coming out of a long session in a sensory deprivation chamber and then going right into a group meditation. It felt like time itself was an illusion, that it stopped, and the only reality was the present. I experienced a timelessness where everything was one with all that was. And when you have this kind of experience, you might feel that your perception gets expanded, allowing you to sense the flow of life, energy, and consciousness beyond the confines of your usual sensory experience. And this can be experienced through the vibrational frequencies of people, nature, and the universe as a whole. And you can move in and out of these stages of awakening. It's not like I reached samadhi and maintained it in my 20s. It was something that happened and then I moved in and out of it. So the idea that, oneness consciousness stays all the time is not really true. This can lead, though, to a greater sense of environmental stewardship, a desire to live in harmony with the natural world. I believe that my connection with nature started as a young girl exposed to homesteading, growing up in rural Pennsylvania with my Italian immigrant grandfather, who taught me numerous primitive skills like fermentation and how to live off the land. And this gave me a wonderful foundation for environmental stewardship and understanding and experiencing oneness consciousness. So I encourage you to feel this through your environment, but also deep from within. because greater peace and joy are available to you whenever you can increase your empathy and compassion and feel a more mindful and present-focused approach to life, a reduction in the fear of death or loss. Oneness consciousness can be experienced through various practices such as meditation. Stillness and mindfulness can lead to the dissolution of ego and a sense of unity with all things. Breathwork, techniques like somatic breathwork specifically, can help people to connect more deeply to their inner selves in the flow of life, fostering a sense of oneness. Other spiritual practices like yoga, prayer, and other forms of spiritual devotion can guide one toward an experience of oneness with the universe or a higher power. And then psychedelics. Some people report experiencing oneness through guided psychedelic experiences where the ego dissolves and they feel interconnected with all of existence. These are just some ways to experience oneness consciousness, a state of awareness or spiritual understanding in which we can perceive ourselves as deeply interconnected with all of life, the universe, a higher universal force. And it's from this non-dual perspective that we can transcend the common human experience of separateness and individuality, recognizing we and all beings are fundamentally the same. To take this even deeper in relating it to our own daily lives, is we want to affect our vibration, noticing how we feel and perceive our reality. The way that this entire collection of souls on this planet in collective consciousness is affecting our surroundings to some degree. Astrologically, we can feel planetary influences, but our own individual consciousness relates to how we perceive our reality. From a yogic perspective, the highest potential for us is in the discovery of our own true nature as unity consciousness. And this unity is experienced as a sense of oneness with all, not just limiting us to any specific part, but the inner unity is reflected in our relationship, our life's work, and the natural world. Human life is an ongoing evolutionary classroom in which we remember this innate unity. Each of our lives is a microcosm of the macro, and we contribute to the overall evolution of everyone through our thoughts and feelings playing an important role in our individuality, in our unity. Emotions give us information about our level of safety in the form of danger, but the mind is a vast network of conditioned responses. The pool of collective information lies deep in the mind and the unconscious, and these shadows in our unconscious contain opportunities for integration towards the wholeness of all of consciousness.